My partner had a toothache. The toothache went down into her heart. She was very sick. She couldn't walk downstairs to get into the light bed. So I pulled out the scanner. The device will scan you and it will augment based on what it sees. I pulled that out. I was going to put her on that. I went downstairs and I put her signature in the light bed. She's upstairs. She can't walk downstairs. By the time I got back upstairs, she was better. I mean, she was ready to go to emergency. It was that close.
Wow.
So she got worse again over the next couple hours. I went back in. I stuck her signature in the light bed. By the time I walked back upstairs, she was better. And the third time we did that, she slept through the night. I did not expect this. I was surprised. A light bed session takes 20 minutes. By the time I walked back upstairs, she was better.
Today's guest is a true innovator in the world of health and human performance. Mike McIntyre is the founder and CEO of Ark LED, a global leader in whole body photobiomodulation, better known as red light therapy. Mike has been at the forefront of light therapy field since 2007, helping pioneer technology that's now trusted by the U.S. military, world leaders, professional sports teams like the Philadelphia Eagles and Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and some of the top Division I programs in the country. With degrees in marketing research and biochemistry, and a background as a collegiate football player, elite powerlifter, and outrigger canoe competitor, Mike brings a unique perspective, blending science, performance, and entrepreneurship. But beyond the technology, his true passion lies in spiritual and personal growth. Through his company, Ark LED, Mike is on a mission to revolutionize how we recover, heal, and optimize the human body. Today, we're diving into red light therapy, what it is, how it works, and whether it can really improve your health. Okay, welcome to the Dr. Joy Kong podcast. Today, I have the distinct pleasure of having Mike McIntyre with me, who's a pioneer in the light therapy sector for health and wellness. So, Mike, I'm so happy to have you because I know you're a wealth of knowledge, and I really, really want to dive deep into light therapy and frequency. Light is frequency, and it's all tied in together. So I know you have some remarkable machine. So welcome.
Yeah, and thank you. I'm honored to be here. I appreciate it. And I've got to say, just in your clinic, your staff, everybody here has been incredible. So it's a phenomenal business that you've created.
Thank you.
Cool.
We have powerful tools, and our hearts are in the right place, and that's probably why it resonates with people.
Yeah, exactly.
It
shows.
Oh, thank you. We actually incorporated one of the beds that you created into our regimen, our protocol when it comes to stem cell therapy. So I'm really excited to bring that in, because I've always said that I think energy medicine is next frontier in medicine, and we're just beginning to scratch the surface. People think that if you don't see it, then it probably is not doing much. I mean, you only have to think about cell phone signals and microwave and radio to realize just how powerful the invisible is.
Right.
Yeah. So what got you interested in light?
Yeah, actually, I started back in 2006 and was working with estheticians and facial panels. And it was kind of wild. It was fun. 2006 was wild because it was the wild west of light therapy, meaning everybody was using different wavelengths. A teal blue was better than an indigo blue because it did X, Y, Z. And, it wasn't really based on research. It was based on ideas. But what was cool was I got to experience all of those different wavelengths of light kind of firsthand. We saw benefits here. For example, like the ambers back in 2008 and 2006, they were the great thing for collagen. And then in 2008, we started finding out, well, they're really not absorbed into the body. Blue is a really cool frequency in what it does from antibacterial, antiviral standpoint, but it can damage the retina, photoage the skin. So, and then when I do these facial panels, I'd always put green on. And we didn't know this back then, but I always felt better when I got done with green.
Really?
Yeah. Okay, so recent research out of University of Arizona, what they're saying is Green increases endorphins in the body.
No way.
So yeah, when you get out of the chamber and you feel different, that's part of that reason.
Very interesting.
So what we're doing now. So
yeah, how do you think light can do something, to elevate mood? Like, what would be the mechanism?
So basically, light and mood. Again, green will increase endorphins in the body. We can work with frequency. Frequency will create different reactions in the body. One of the things that your machine does is we use 6 different wavelengths of light as carriers for frequency as well as information patterns. And what we find, everybody talks about red light therapy. It's the buzzword now.
Yes.
Red light therapy is basically, it's a subset of what photobiomodulation is. And we can do different things within the body with different wavelengths of light. But again, as we start shaping those wavelengths of light with frequency, now we get reactions. To me, that's why if you use a red light bed and you get out, you don't necessarily feel it. If you use our system, when you walk away, you're kind of like, "Whoa, that was cool," right? Something happens. And there's different protocols where we can...
Because of the added frequency that's in your bed. And also different colors, right?
Yeah. Right. So the different wavelengths of light are going to create... Again, we're going to get... With green, we'll get the endorphins. With red infrared, primarily you're looking at anti-inflammatory throughout the entire body, shifting mitochondrial function, increasing mitochondrial function. We call our bed ATP for a reason. We also use longer infrared with the intention of carrying frequency into the body, into the cell wall. So we want to absorb that wavelength into the water in the cell membrane. And then we can take that and we shape that water with frequency or charge it. If we can charge that water, then we can increase a biomarker called phase angle. If we increase phase angle, we live longer, we live less fragility. We create barriers against cancer, diabetes, arthritis, etc.
Okay.
So the wavelength combination allows you to shape what you're doing with somebody. And then we use those wavelengths as carriers for frequency, which further allows us to shape. And then the other factor that we do, if you've seen the quantum codes on the quick QIC, the quick on the machine stands for quantum imprinting code. And essentially what we're doing is we're imprinting the quantum field with a blueprint. And basically that blueprint, the idea is that we want to, for example, if we have quantum liver, what we're doing is we're imprinting the quantum field with a blueprint of what a healthy liver looks like, with the intention that the body will entrain an up level to that healthy function. So again, you asked a question.
It all sounds very, very kind of esoteric. So how does it? How do you carry the frequency? How?
Yeah. So again, we've got two different animals here. The first one is going to be pulsing. So basically, we're turning those lights on and off. We can pulse our machine up to 400,000 times per second.
Wow.
We can team that up with plasma and actually pulse up to 2 million times per second. All right, why is that important? So if we take a look at leukemia, for example, and we're talking about resonant frequency, we're not making any claims about resonant frequency, but if we talk about leukemia has a kill zone, meaning, so resonant frequency is like when someone sings, and the frequency of their voice creates an uncontrollable vibration in the liquid crystals in the wine glass or the crystals in the wine glass. We can do the exact same thing with cells. All right. So this is future medicine, but we have the capability to do it now. Leukemia has a kill zone between 158,000 and 162,000 hertz. Cancer generally has a kill zone between 100,000 and 300,000 hertz. The reason we pulse our machine to 400,000 hertz is because A, I can't go anymore from a technology standpoint, and B, because we want to be able to get that. So when regulatory allows us to do it, we've already built the machine to do that. The reason we go 2 million hertz is because what they found is that if they can team up that base frequency with an 11th harmonic, so the 11th harmonic of 160,000 hertz is roughly 1.86 million. So we need a different carrier, okay? So basically what we do is we'll team up the light bed with plasma. Plasma either strengthens the power of the pulsing of the light, or we can use it to create harmonics. So prediction, I love what you said about energy medicine, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's the future. It's the future. We don't know that much about it right now. And then also we have to go through the regulatory process. But if for example, we wouldn't want to take leukemia and destroy all the leukemia cells in the body in one shot. That would hurt that person. So we want to figure out, is it 10%, 10%, 10%, 10% at a time? All right, so do we incrementally go after those pathogens?
I find it fascinating to actually hear the word kill zone. So I don't hear that very much. I mean, we talk about antibiotics and can kill pathogens and et cetera, or I guess chemotherapy agents, but to think of frequencies as killing, and so that's really fascinating. I'm sure that's all proven by studies.
So
that
there's
certain
actually,
vibrations, yeah.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. So there's actually phase 3 approval right now with 2 companies that I know of that are using resonant frequency to destroy cancerous tumors.
Wow.
Okay, so and what I was getting at was, if in the future the research comes out and shows that we need a 1st, 3rd, 5th, 7th, 9th, and 11th harmonic of 154,000 hertz to do XYZ in the body, whatever that target is, we've created the technology to deliver that now. So we can do that now. So we're really kind of waiting on the okay, right? So
yeah. So it doesn't take a lot of physics background and understanding to do something like what you're doing with the light. I mean, is that something you were trained in?
No. No. It takes the craziness to go out and do the research and figure it all out. There's people who are a lot smarter than I am, who have already figured this out, and we can go back and look at their research and do that. And again, it's like I said, if we go back to the story of 2006, putting that green panel on my face, I put that green panel on my face and I felt different. So I worked with one of the leading researchers in the world, Dr. Michael Hamlin, in 2018 when we built our ATP system. And basically, it was fun. In 2018, he kind of laughed. He goes, "Why would you use green? Nobody uses green," because they hadn't done the research on it yet. And then 2022, they started doing the research. And then green became the new red because it actually outperformed red in clinical trials. And we knew that blue, so blue light with Levolon would work for acne. And essentially, I was talking with some of the researchers at Henry Ford. I was really careful about it. I was very careful. I said, yeah, we don't want to use blue because we're afraid it can damage the retina. And the doctor came back and he goes, no, it will absolutely damage the retina. He went on for like 5 minutes with it. So it's fun from a wavelength standpoint, not frequency, not imprinting, not harmonics, just from a pure wavelength standpoint. I think in the last literally almost 3 years is where we've really gained a lot of ground. The question is how much further do we go?
Yeah, right. So, initially with just red light, and at our clinic we use laser light as well, handheld, and
that was fun.
You experienced it, right?
Yeah.
It's incredible. So that's the same wavelength, but basically with the different frequency of how the light is shining.
Was that 660, 630?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, somewhere right there.
Very cool.
And targeting different tissues by the vibration, the rate of the frequency of the light. So that's pretty fascinating because you can program it according to different organs. It's almost like there's a language of talking to different organs. There's a setting for the heart. There's a setting for the spleen, right? There's a setting for osteoarthritis, for joint health, or for, really any organ in the body. We can set up different frequency for it.
So are those actual frequencies pulsing patterns?
Pulsing patterns, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that sounds fascinating because the whole book of it is almost like a language. Like, how do I talk to this organ? Okay, let's flip to that page. Yeah, it's fascinating.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So we have a full body light bed, and the question is when we built the bed, we built it so that we could silo the different frequencies in different areas of the body. It'd be interesting to take a look at that and say, okay, we've got somebody, we scan them before we put them in. We see XYZ for heart, as we need to do this for the heart, we need to do this for the brain, and this for. Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I know you do cycle. So certain settings, I think it's a 3-minute cycle. So you cycle through different. I'm sure there's I know we can't make any claims against any particular conditions. However, you found that for certain issues, if the light is in certain frequencies, the people just feel better, right? They do better. I'm sure you have a lot of surprising stories, but that we can talk about a little later. So, like how do you decide on these frequencies? Like what to give people? What kind of light you're going to use? And how are you going to pulse it for people?
Right. In terms of, wavelengths or colors would be another way to say that. In terms of wavelengths, that's based on existing research, and it's based on practice. I've been doing it for 20 years, so we have ideas intuitively that may have not been researched yet, and there aren't a lot of limitations on the ability to use light as we speak. Okay, so it's pretty much all either beneficial or it doesn't hurt you at all. Okay, so generally speaking. From a frequency standpoint, I like that you said 3 minutes, so 3-minute increments. In the research, what they found is that you can use resonant frequency to impact the health of a cell, and it takes about 3 minutes to do that. Okay, so one of the reasons that we cycle our system every 3 minutes, we're going to change frequencies. And I'd invite you in your system, this might even be an aside, but I'd invite you in your system to try Memory Boost, that protocol.
Okay.
It's number 19 in the Invader sets.
Okay.
And then what happens is you will see, you will feel, and you will hear in that 21-minute session. You'll hear the different frequency changes.
Okay, so tell me what different frequencies are doing. This is for Memory Boost. Like, why are you switching from through different frequencies?
Well, okay. So part of the question you asked was where do we get the frequencies? How do we? Where's the cookbook, right? Okay. There's different resources out there for frequency medicine, and because I don't want to take outliers. I mean, the last thing you want to do is potentially damage a healthy cell, right? So as I wrote the protocols in the machine, I cross-reference against 4 different research bases and took kind of the top ones out of those, and some of those are highlighted and they're shared by all 4. So what happened, that's how we created the protocols in the machine, is I took existing information out there. We're not making anything up. We're not testing, we're not doing that.
Yeah. So then you found certain frequencies that are from research that are particularly good for certain issues?
Exactly. So from the research that's out there, there's probably 3,000 or 4,000 different targets that you can pick from. All right. And then those targets are cross-references in different media sources. So again, we may look at Lyme disease, and we see Lyme disease typically has about 28 different frequencies. And if I run 2 at a time simultaneously for 3 minutes each in a 21-minute session, that means I've got 14 frequencies. The reason you have a Lyme 1 and a Lyme 2 on your machine is because it takes 28. So we run one session, we come back and do another session.
What does that mean, that Lyme disease have all these frequencies? Frequencies coming from what?
Okay, we'll go here. Okay. So, again, the research out there, and again, there are companies right now that have phase 3 approval with the FDA to use resonant frequency to basically go in and vibrate, create an uncontrollable vibration in the liquid crystals in the cell, which destroys the cell. All right. There are research out there, Hilda Clark, James Baer, there's the NAFL, the CAFL. Those are the 4 resources that I use. And I'll cross-reference all 4 of those and basically pick out the frequencies that we create a protocol in. And we're purposely not attempting to break the cell apart, break apart pathogens. What we're trying to do is literally influence the field underneath the cell. So, and it doesn't mean I'm right, but this is my explanation to myself, right? It's the beauty of not being a doctor. I can just make stuff up. But if we can influence the quantum field, then essentially we create a blueprint in the quantum field. So, and that blueprint then becomes an entrainment point for the body. So that's how we look at our protocols. Our protocols are, okay, how do we shape the information field, the energetic field underneath the cells, and will that cascade down into the cells and create changes? We're not treating a condition, and literally we're not. That's not just a regulatory statement. It's not just a regulatory statement. We're not treating a condition. What we're doing is we're shaping the body so that the body can better heal itself. We all have a right to be healthy, right? We may not be able to make claims or do certain things, but we all have a right to be healthy. I got that from Dave Asprey. I love that.
You got what?
I got that from Dave Asprey, talking with Dave.
Oh, I see.
Because I was really careful about, protocols and frequency and everything. And Dave said, he kind of like, yeah, maybe we can't talk about that. We can't say that, but we all have a right to be healthy. And that's, so I think one of the beauties of the system is that probably, and we don't know what these numbers look like. This is my intuitive, but somewhere in the 80-85% of the power, the heavy lift in the system is going to come just from the lights. We've seen almost every condition that one could imagine be resolved by the lights alone.
You're talking the light versus the frequency, or the light versus other forms of therapy?
So if we just put the right dose of light on a person with the right combinations of wavelengths and chromophores and absorption patterns, I'd say that probably 80% of the benefit to that person comes from the lights. Now, we can shape the lights with frequency. We can turn them on and off up to 400,000 times per second. And that allows us to create different influence patterns in the body. We can also use the lights to carry a information signature, actually scalar information pattern. And that's where we're imprinting that in the quantum field. So it's, there's multiple benefit points. And the reason I'm saying that is we've seen with our ATP-based system that we came out with in 2018 that only pulses to 100 hertz. It doesn't pulse to 400,000. That was a later development. We've seen, like I said, resolution of stage 4 cancers. Did we treat the cancer? No. Do we have a protocol for it? No, we still don't. We won't until we're allowed to. But we've seen the resolution of those just in the light bed, right? And then we can take that light bed and we can do more.
So the light bed does have the frequencies programmed into it?
Yes.
Okay. So you think it provides almost like a framework of the correct frequency for the body, and the body resonates with the correct frequency, and that's how the healing happens?
I think you should go more in that. No. I think it's great. So tell me.
The entrainment you're talking about, right? So how does the frequency do that?
Yeah,
it's like waking the cells up to the right frequency.
Right.
And then it can
It's like you talk about
itself.
frequency with heart, right? Why can't we use the light to carry that frequency in the body and change that? That's what you're doing with your laser, right? Yeah.
That's interesting. I'm thinking about stem cell therapy, how I think of the cells as as an energy transmission system, that it conveys intelligence. And what the hell is intelligence, right? Define intelligence to me.
Right.
And I think that's energy. What kind of energy? And energy means that there's some kind of transmission, that there's probably some kind of frequency, right?
Yeah. So energy becomes, I see energy as a carrier. So you're talking about information or intelligence. I love what you're. Tell me more about intelligence. I'm sorry to.
No, I don't know. If someone knows exactly how to define intelligence, I'd love to hear it. But I think intelligence is information. We don't know from where.
Right.
In this three-dimensional world, are we just receptors?
You're
are we
right.
just antennas for that intelligence? Is that what the brain is?
Right.
To capture that intelligence, we think is in our head. No, it's actually out there. We just captured it.
Right. So what I just heard you say, and this is one of the things that we're really working on right now, is how do we create a quantum application for the energy that we're doing? And the first of it is we have to create a definition. A definition, like when an architect is building a building, what they'll do is the first thing they have is an idea. Well, where's that idea? You ask, where's that idea? It's everywhere. Or it's in your brain, but it's everywhere, right? All right. The quantum field exists beyond time and space, but that architect is going to take that idea, he's going to write it on a piece of paper. There's your information, right? So the canvas is a quantum field. The blueprint is a drawing. And then we create resources to gather resources to fill that blueprint or that intelligence, right? And we create physical health or vitality or whatever we do.
We're manifesting the blueprint.
So what we're talking about is how do we influence the information field, right? What can we do with the information field? The energy from the chamber is direct input onto the cells. But the information pattern, I think that's the future of medicine.
Yeah. So looking at the bed that you've designed, of course, there are a lot of beds out there, and a lot of people have bought very expensive beds, and they all say they're the best. Yeah. So, but I know yours is used by the military, by lots of pro athletes, people who are very discerning actually are choosing your bed. And why is that?
Great question. So in terms of our business model has been since 2016 research and development. That's all we did. In fact, it's not a great business model, but I put my first social media post in this morning after 10 years.
No way.
We haven't done a social media post since the Buccaneers won the Super Bowl. No, that's one of our clients. We haven't spent a penny on advertising.
Wow.
Okay. So everything that we've been focused on is, there's a mission statement in every company. You have your mission statement. We have ours. Our mission statement is sick person in, healthy person out. How do we get there, right? How do we do that? And our belief has always been, if we can, I don't, God bless everybody. I don't care about my competition. I want to be better. We've got a specific goal, all right? And that just drives you to try different things. Right. So we're always experimenting. We're always, 21 prototypes in the last 6 years. That's with no advertising. It's not the greatest business model, but but as you said, like I said, we're, the military just completed a 3-year study. That was with Ohio State, Air Force Research Lab, U.S. Military Services, Walter Reed. So, it's pretty healthy research out there.
Yeah. What did they study?
Basically what it seems what they studied, and the research hasn't been, I saw the synopsis of it, and basically it said Arc LED is 50% more powerful than number 2. Okay. Power is not, it's not about being more powerful. It's about having the right dose. And as I mentioned, I worked with Dr. Hamlin in 2018. We want to be dose optimized. We want to get as much penetration as we can without creating damage. All right. So I built my machine based on what his recommendations were. All right. So I built it to those standards. Well, I think as I mentioned to you, we're like literally delivering 5 times more energy than the most, what's called, everybody has the best machine, what's called the most powerful system out there. Yeah. We're literally in the research 5 times. 500%.
That's a lot.
Okay. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And
So
then,
do people feel, I mean, does it mean it's hotter? Does it mean
Yeah.
it is hotter?
It is hotter.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, and that's what Dr. Hamlin said, as we said in 2018. He said, I said, so what should we be doing? And he gave me these parameters. He said, if you go above these parameters, the issue that you're going to have is heat, right? And then there's another side of that is the quality of the LED that you use in a light bed is important because there's a heat to light ratio. If you have a lower quality LED, you have higher heat to light, which means, you're going to warm up the cells more without getting the efficacy from it. If you have a higher quality system, you're going to have more light to heat.
I see.
Better
Okay.
outcomes.
Right. And you guys use the highest grade of the light.
So we use a company out of Germany. In fact, that was a company in 2006 when we were doing the facial panels. We were doing that, and I knew this great company in Germany. I'm like, oh, when I grow up, I'm going to use them, And so in 2018, when we built our system, basically we went there. There's another company, I can't really say their name, great company. They use Nichiya out of Japan, and that's also a really high quality. So the two top companies out there, it's going to be us and them. And essentially, as I mentioned, from a power standpoint, they're similar to us.
Yeah. And you include the red and the green?
Right.
And the yellow or not?
No. So what we found, when we look at wavelengths of light, we want to take a look at what those wavelengths of light are doing. And so light is absorbed into chromophores, and there are specific chromophores in the body that create specific reactions. The blues and the green is absorbed in the hemoglobin, the oxyhemoglobin. And essentially what green is going to do is it's antiviral, antibacterial, and we just found that out.
The green.
It creates endorphins in the body, supercharges the blood, and that's kind of a nebulous term, but that's what a doctor told me. She says, oh, so you're supercharging the blood. It is actually better for wound healing than red infrared.
Wow.
Green hits the cannabinoid pain pathway, whereas red infrared, so that's what green does. It's absorbed in the hemoglobin, the oxyhemoglobin. It has that benefit curve. Then we go red infrared. The chromophore for red infrared is a cytochrome C oxidase in the mitochondria. So that absorbs that red infrared light, and basically what it's going to do is going to increase mitochondrial function. If we increase mitochondrial function, we're going to increase ATP. If we increase ATP, the cells have more energy. If the cells have more energy, tissues, organs, systems do. So it's that cascading effect. Okay, so red infrared is also analgesic on nerves, whereas green hits a cannabinoid pain pathway. So red infrared is analgesic on nerves, so we get a different pain pathway. Green is going to work for migraines. Red is going to work for different things. So now we've got two different pain pathways. Red infrared is anti-inflammatory. So the systemic, if you're in a full body light bed and you're reducing inflammation throughout the entire body, that's huge. You're infinitely more knowledgeable about this than I am. What the interaction with stem cells is going to be, right? So.
Yeah, we actually put our cells in a light well with red and yellow, actually, the two lights that we use to help. I think green also, just not the blue. And that enhances cell mobility, enhances their ability to proliferate and to differentiate. So they just become more vibrant, vital, ready to work.
Right. Yeah, exactly. So, it's like I'm going to take my layman's term, but basically you're just supercharging the exosome, supercharging
the stem cells.
Stem cells. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And the infrared is also important.
Yeah. So so red infrared from about 633 nanometers, which is kind of like reddish orange. 660 is more of a ruby red. Then you start getting into the 800s, the early 800s, up to about 850 nanometers. You can't see that wavelength. And that's all absorbed in the cytochrome C oxidase in the mitochondria. When you get beyond about 880 nanometers, a nanometer is 10 to the minus ninth meters. So when you get beyond that length, essentially what you're doing is you change the chromophore. And what happens is the light is absorbed into the water in the cell membrane, which, an infrared sauna, if you go kind of a medium infrared, a longer infrared, that light is absorbed in the water in the cell membrane. Now you're heating up the cells. We don't want to do that. All we're doing, the reason we use this kind of, it's still a near infrared light, but it's on the verge of medium. And essentially what we want to do is we use that as a carrier for frequency. So we're vibrating the water in the cell membrane. If we can vibrate or structure or charge the water in the cell membrane, then that brings us to that phase angle component. So we can increase phase angle. That's the sole purpose of going there with that longer infrared.
And what's the purpose of raising phase angle?
So phase angle is a biomarker for longevity. If we increase phase angle, we live longer. If we increase phase angle, we live with less fragility. If we increase phase angle, we create barriers against cancer, diabetes, arthritis, etc. So phase angles, it's a really cool biomarker. Personal story. I really started with our own bed probably in 2019, started using it. And I remember I've got a Russian doctor that I work with, and we did a scan of my body, and she looked at my face and she goes, "Yeah, you're not doing so good." I was like 5.5. The only thing that I've changed, I still exercise. I still don't always drink the best stuff, or, et cetera. So,
sodas?
What's that? Was
it sodas or alcohol?
Yeah, tequila. So
tequila.
Not much less than My point is I don't try and be overly healthy, but my phase angle has gone from 5.5 to 7.9. Okay, that's over the last 8 years. And if we look at that, like professional athletes, the best, the highest trained on the planet are going to be at 10, right? I can't really create an equivalent on this, but my guess is I probably added like 20 years to my life. Wow. Just from the light bed.
Really? And how frequently did you use it?
I use it 3 times a week. Sometimes 5, sometimes I'll get in it. Sometimes I throw my signature in the bed and I go off and get coffee and let it treat me while I go. So that's the future. That's where this is really going.
Yeah. I do wonder, what the current state of acceptance of
quantum
methods of such, right? So there are definitely a lot of people who are going to be saying, right on, of course, that's fantastic, you're doing that. Some other people will be saying, well, absolutely not, you just lost me.
Yeah, that's when a lot of people just turn their head and kind of walk away. Let me give you an example. My partner, Sonoy, had a toothache. The toothache went down into her heart, spread throughout her body. She had an infection because of it. She was in bed. She was very sick, nauseous, couldn't get out of bed. She couldn't walk downstairs to get into the light bed. Okay. So I pulled out the scanner, this thing, the device will scan you and it will augment based on what it sees. Okay. I pulled that out. I was going to put her on that. I went downstairs and I put her in the light bed. I put her signature in the light bed. She's upstairs. She can't walk downstairs, right? I turn it on, and, quantum is beyond time and space. By the time I got back upstairs, she was better. I mean, she was nauseous, just, it was like ready to go to emergency. It was that close.
Wow.
So, and she got worse again over the next couple hours. I went back in, I stuck her signature in the light bed. By the time I walked back upstairs, she was better. And the third time we did that, she slept through the night. So the cool part of that is, quantum is beyond time and space. I did not expect this. I was surprised because a light bed session, direct access to that light, takes 20 minutes, right? By the time I walked back upstairs, she was better. So she picked up that information pattern from the entire session immediately. And she got better. And the question...
So you put it downstairs, you went upstairs. That probably took you 2 minutes, right?
Yeah, at least 15 seconds.
It was that fast?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's not that big a house. So. but yeah, it was that fast. I mean, literally just happened immediately. And again, we weren't influencing the outcome by belief in any way, shape, or form because I didn't expect that.
Mm-hmm.
It just happened. So the question becomes, and this is really getting out there, and like you said, can we take and put 1,000 people in the chamber simultaneously, or 10,000 or 100,000? Can we treat those people every day? Could we take diverticulitis? It's program 286 on our machine. Could we take diverticulitis treatment like a book off of a shelf? So somebody's having an issue with it. Could they just go in and press a button and get that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I think that's the future.
Yeah. So can you do too much of this
Yes.
light bed? You can. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Generally speaking, you will adapt to the light over time, and you can get to that point where you can get into it 3, 4, 5 times in a row. But generally speaking, you want to take a day off in between sessions. And what happens, and you can explain this better than I can, but dose is biphasic. And basically what it says is as we increase, so this is time and this is energy, as we increase energy over time, the benefits will increase up to a point, and then they start coming down.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to hurt you as they come down, but you'll start losing benefit. If we do 2 days in a row for most people, that's going to be too much energy. So you want to give yourself a day off in between. Yeah. Great question.
You say too much energy. It just, so the biological system just kind of saturate and is not, first of all, you're not going to get any extra benefit. But
exactly,
what could possibly be harmful, or
Yeah, when we look at the dose curves, when we look at the research, we don't see harm coming from over, but we see the benefits that you gain fall off. All right, what could get better if you're overdosing? So, based on the research from Junior Leal out of Brazil, he did a lot of research on photobiomodulation and actually cryotherapy, and what he found is that 30 joules of energy is kind of optimal from a performance standpoint. Think of a joule of energy like a milligram of aspirin. Okay, so at 30 grams, that's 30 joules, that's optimal for performance enhancement for a bodybuilder, et cetera, working out. 60 joules is optimal for pain. So what ends up happening is your dose curve, you will increase the benefit to 30 joules. So you're peaking for performance. And as you keep going, you're losing it, but your pain benefits are coming up. So the question is, if somebody's in a lot of pain, go ahead and overdose them. Get rid of the pain. If you have somebody in your clinic that gets injured, get on a light bed every day. It's okay to overdose them, right? Get rid of the pain first, then go back into healing. And with healing, you separate. That's
interesting. So when people start using the light bed, what do they usually notice first?
It depends on the issues the person has. So generally speaking, we don't feel, it's like you asked me about what did I feel with the stem cells. And you said you're healthy and you don't necessarily, everything it does. Everything it does, right?
It's doing something, but I can't tell.
Yeah.
I've had my staff in the bed when they feel inflamed, and then they feel reduction in pain.
Right. So what I was getting at is, it's what is bothering you tends to fall off, and you notice it fell off. An athlete, for example, we've had a number of people who are weightlifters, power lifters, who basically they're not. In fact, I had a story of a guy, he came back, he said, Mike, I just did the light bed. I did a triple at my all-time best weight on the squat. He goes, I wasn't even training. As a power lifter, that does not happen. You're training, you're peaking, you're training, you're peaking, you're doing everything you can to get your best. This is what we see at light bed. That's why we're in half the NFL. That's why the military is using us, because we're able to enhance performance substantially. So again, you've got those two peaks. You have the performance peak, but you also have the pain relief peak. And your question was this, what do people notice, right? Okay, so if you're in pain and that pain's gone, pretty good chance you're going to notice it. It might be 2 hours later when you're walking down the curb and you're going, wow, my feet should be hurting. What's going on? Okay, so that's a big one. Try this with your staff. Look at them before they get in the bed, and then look at them when they come out.
I've seen their face glow for sure. Yeah,
you'll see it. You'll see it.
Yeah.
We see it. It happens. It's almost all the time.
Yeah.
So there's something going on from a resonance standpoint of that person. Their biofield is just, like you said,
Another thing I've noticed is that I would go into the bed and feeling perfectly fine. And then all of a sudden, one spot will have some pain. And then, and then it goes away. And then maybe there's another spot. So tell me what that is.
Yeah. Different things for different people. I can't really predict it.
Right.
But what we see, an example would be, we had a person in the bed. He said, Mike, I was in the bed and both my wrists start vibrating. I said, did you ever hurt your wrists? He goes, oh yeah, I broke them both. Okay. So a lot of times what's happening is, and again, this is a question for you more than me. When your body sees a pain point, how does it react? I mean, what are the signals that it's going to tell you? Right. And that's actually a question.
Yeah. Well, what I was thinking was that it's funny because I've seen that with stem cell therapy. It happens a little slower. It's not in the bed within a few minutes. Whoop, there's a sharp pain, a little sharper, it's not terrible, but it's like, this is achy. What's going on there? And then within minutes, it goes away. And then it goes to another spot. But what I've seen with stem cells is that, I remember this patient distinctly. She said, I don't know what happened. After stem cell therapy, my injuries that I had that I thought were completely healed, now it's hurting again. Wow. And then it stopped hurting and it went away. So I think it's similar things that it's activating the cells and the signals that triggering this reaction. Basically, maybe the cells are detoxing. Maybe the cells are waking up and calling on immune cells to come and help. And so there's some kind of repair mechanism going on. And repair requires inflammation, right? You want acute inflammation and then you remove the inflammation. Now you can heal. So that could be. That sounds like I like that answer. I like it. And could there be something beyond all that we just haven't seen in the research or the science yet that's happening? Yeah. And then the next question is, so here's the question. So if you're, from a stem cell standpoint, you see this reduction over time, could we create a quantum imprint of what that stem cell looks like? And could that happen? We probably could.
Probably could.
Yeah.
Dr. Joy Kong, treating the world. Let's
make some new program. So you've seen a lot of people getting treated. We're getting into this bed. And what kind of surprising things have you seen? Anything that just really you would never anticipate?
Oh, we've got so many stories. I mean, and I don't run a clinic. We're manufacturing. We're doing the business aspects of production. We're testing, et cetera. But I hear from all of our clinics. So, Tara told me the story about a gentleman who came in. He had stage 4 lung cancer, and and we don't have a protocol for that. There's no protocol for cancer on a machine. But so basically what Tara did is she had him do a combination of fasting and the light bed. And she tells a story about how the gentleman went to the doctor 3 weeks later from when he had stage 4 lung cancer, nodules on his lungs, went back to the doctor, and the doctor looked at him. He's like, he scanned him and goes, something wrong. So he scanned him again and goes, something wrong. Scanned him a third time. He came back, he had tears in his eyes. And he went to the client and goes, I don't know what happened. Everything's gone. We see that. We see that happen. Are we treating that? No, not at all. Not at all. We're changing the bioenergetics under the cell. If we change the bioenergetics under the cells get healthier. That cascades down the tissues, organs, systems. We create a barrier against disease. So it's, and you asked a question earlier, and I want to jump on this because it's kind of cool, is about the systemic benefit of a light bed. From a cancer standpoint, that is one, again, we weren't even treating it. We're making the cells healthier so that the body is better able to recover. We were talking earlier about kind of the systemic benefit of a light bed versus like a panel or just spotlight therapy. And one of the things that we found out early on, so the machine that I came out with, I started this in 2015 with full body systems. And in 2015, we came out with a system that wasn't very good. It wasn't very powerful. It's still out there. People are still using it. That's cool. But it wasn't very powerful. It would not penetrate deep into the brain. We knew we didn't have the power to do that, really. But what we found with that first system, in fact, there were universities that wanted to do studies on what we're doing because we were working with PTSD, TBI, CTEs, and we're having effects on all those. So the question is like, you know, and I turn that back to you, is like, what's the systemic benefit of, you know, anti-inflammatory throughout the entire body of what we're doing? How does it, you know?
Well, you're improving the function of all the cells.
Of all the cells.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's not a direct input of the light into the brain. It's,
So this does penetrate deep into the brain?
Yeah. Okay.
We
should go for
And how do you know that?
Just based on research. On research, we should be going about 4 centimeters deep with the infrareds. That's traditional. And like I said, that's where power comes in. So if you have more power, you're going to get deeper penetration. And that's why the military came back and said, we want this machine because we know we're going to get the maximum penetration out there. So.
What have you seen when people suffer from depression or anxiety when they use the bed?
Yeah, exactly. Depression, anxiety. I've got people that just come over to my house, my neighbor. Let me rephrase that. I don't want to talk about her. Okay.
That's okay. We don't know who she is.
So yeah, there's no question from a standpoint of depression, PTSD, different type of, you know, just having a bad day. It's like you said, when you see somebody get out of the bed and they're glowing, right? Something's happening there. You know, certainly from a biological standpoint in the brain, what we're doing with light, I won't go into that. I'm gonna butcher that.
Yeah, and one question is, what are the prevailing myths that you want to debunk about red light therapy or light therapy in general?
Prevailing myths about light therapy. Okay. Wow. Okay, I'm gonna have to hold myself back. So, okay. So the question is like, you know, what's happening in the marketplace about red light therapy? Well, the first thing, red light therapy is a subset of what photobiomodulation is. It's a subset. We get, I believe, as much benefit from green as we do from red infrared. So just the name red light therapy becomes it kind of cheapens what's going on. That's actually how we see it. And people that we work with, you know, they're kind of like, yeah, we hear about this all the time. It's becoming trendy without talking to efficacy. Power, you know, I have the most powerful machine on the planet. Power is important to a point. And what we've seen, again, I never built my machine to be the most powerful. I built my machine to do what Dr. Hamlin told us to do. All right. Now, fortunately, based on research, we have the most powerful machine, but you'll hear everybody out there saying, my machine's more powerful. You know, it's not about that. It's about optimizing dose. You're going to create effectiveness if you do it right. Rather, more is not better in light therapy. Right is right.
What if somebody just goes under the sun and get some sunlight.
Sure.
It has all the wavelengths.
Awesome. Awesome.
I mean, can someone just do that as a substitute?
Sure. And there's some of those wavelengths and are probably not as healthy for you.
Some of the UV,
And there's so much power in sunlight.
Yes.
So much power.
I experienced that in
power.
Florida. More power.
Yeah. I mean, well, you experience it here in California also, but that's not really much of an answer.
So could someone just go outside and maybe block out the rays that are not so, are a little bit detrimental? How
do you block out the UVs? How do you block out the blues? How do you block out the things that are going to damage your cells and still get the amount of energy, of beneficial energy that you want? If you can do that, awesome. Again, there's a tremendous
What do you think of
amount
sunscreens?
What do you think about sunscreen?
I don't wear them.
Yeah. I'm not a fan of putting chemicals on my body. And if you don't, you can suffer the damage.
If you are exposed excessively.
Yeah, excessively.
Yeah.
Exactly. So I think what you're getting at, I think that the answer is basically we're able to create the specific wavelengths that we know create efficacy in the power levels that we want to create it just for you when you're in this chamber. We're able to cut everything else out that you don't want. All right. And then, like I said, if we're shaping it with frequency, if we're shaping it with information patterns, then.
Yeah. So the whole body light therapy has been gaining popularity, right? You've seen that.
Sure.
Yeah. Where do you think it's going in the next 5-10 years? Would it be as common as a gym membership? Like people just go in and just get a, 15-20 minute session and move on?
So we're moving into a number of gym chains. We're moving into hotel chains. We're moving into, from a market standpoint, we're building a machine for people at home, a serious machine for people to use in their house. And when I say serious, I mean delivering the right energy, the right power, the right frequency, adding PMF, et cetera, to it. So I think you're absolutely right. I believe that it could be as common as a gym membership. Being an old gym rat, what would I choose? Would I choose my light bed or the gym? From a health standpoint, I'm going to choose my light bed. From I feel better because I just started pushing weights around, I'm going to choose the gym. So there's different things for different people.
Yeah. Okay. A lot of gyms have your machine?
No.
Okay.
That's happening as we speak.
Right? I see. So, okay.
And understand, so there's, from an economic standpoint, the gym model requires a different device than a doctor's office does, right? And the high net worth person at home requires a different device. So one of the things that we've done is we built devices for 4 different niches. And that's not meant to be a sales pitch, but what I'm saying is there's certain things that you should be doing in certain places. And I think it makes sense to specialize.
So the light bed is called ARRC bed?
Yeah, ARRC LED stands for Advanced Rejuvenation Recovery Chamber. I came up with that back in 2015. And
I see.
Because it's kind of, and we look at chamber before the word pod came out. There's a lot of things that we're doing inside that bed. I mentioned to you, we just got our patents issued this morning. And that's this integration of scanning, of taking that scan of that person, that biofield of that person, and sending corrective signatures into the light bed, into a black box inside the machine. That black box transfers that information pattern. It treats that person. Okay,
so where can people get this amazing bed?
Yeah, so you can find us at arrcled.com, ARRC LED.com. We'll send you information on the different devices and what equipment is with each of those devices. And then also, if you can just put, referred by Dr. Joy on the show, that'd be fantastic. We'll send you a $2,500 rebate based on that, just for being referred to by you. Thank you for that.
Oh, that's amazing.
Yeah,
Thank you for offering that.
Thank you.
Yes. Yeah, it's such an informative session. It was actually a lot of fun talking about energy.
A lot of fun.
One last question is that you actually said you had received a lot of influence as far as how you approach maybe even a light bed when it comes to being influenced by Qigong, by yoga, by Buddhism. Can you just quickly talk about how did these things affect your approach?
Yeah, so I think that's a great question, and I can't say I really know the answer beyond thinking at a different level, right? So not being afraid of things that are quantum-based, not being afraid of remote healing, not being afraid of just this deeply rooted base in energy itself to heal my body.
So they opened your eyes,
They
basically.
opened, yeah. No question. Took the blinders off.
Yeah.
No question.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's wonderful
Thank you.
having you, and thank you for educating everybody and for creating
Thanks
the bed.
for
I'm
hosting
sure
me.
it's not easy.
Yeah. Very cool.
Yeah, it takes
cool.
courage and takes persistence and takes
Failure. A little bit of that. There's always a little bit of that. So yeah,
that's
very cool.
behind all
Very
the
cool.
success.
Keep doing what you're doing. I mean, wow. It's amazing, your career, everything that you're. Yeah, I'm
Thank you
amazed.
so much. I
Very-
appreciate that.
Very cool. Very
Yes.
cool. And your team here. Yeah. Yeah. I'll say
Thank
that
you.
again.
I'm so glad to hear. Again, thank you, Mike.
Thank you. Thank you. Honored to be here.